Hey, what's up guys? My name is Andy Bapkis. I'm a certified nutrition consultant and high intensity personal trainer. And I'm here today to talk about essential fatty acids and why you should even care about this topic at all. And I recently wrote an article on this specific topic, and I'm going to start trying to make videos to accompany my blog posts because I know we all don't want to read everything. So I feel like giving a video summary and then you can get into the details of my blog post. They'll pair together really nicely, and then you'll be able to absorb this information way easier. So why am I talking about essential fatty acids? Well, there's this buzzword in the health field going along the topic of inflammation. So with inflammation, it can be induced by stress, it can be induced by poor eating habits, exercising too much, so many different variables, environmental factors, being exposed to toxins. All these stress factors will then cause inflammation in the body. So I put this article together to create a little bit of I like to use the word hack. I know it's kind of getting played out, but a little bit of a biohack to help sort of down-regulate some of that inflammation. Now, I want to say that inflammation isn't always a bad thing. It's a natural process in the body. We need inflammation, but when it gets out of control, that's when things happen. That's when the bad stuff happens. That's when we don't want those things to be happening. So what I'm going to do is talk about these magical fats called essential fatty acids, and they're a specific subset of specific type of fats. They're called essential because we cannot make them ourselves. We have to get them basically through diet and or supplementation. Ideally diet, but I'm also going to talk about some little supplementation options as well. So with proper balance of essential fatty acids, it helps maintain our cells' integrity, like its proper structure, as far as maintaining cholesterol levels, brain and nerve health. So it's very important to have the right levels of essential fatty acids for cognitive function. Regulating mood, even insulin and blood glucose stability. So if weight issues are a concern, having your proper levels of essential fatty acids are super critical. And then obviously maintaining inflammation and homeostasis throughout the body, regulating those inflammation pathways. There's various types of essential fatty acids. You've probably heard of omega-3, omega-6s, there's also omega-7s and 9s, but they're all sourced from different types of food sources, and a lot of food sources will have all of these together, but then specific foods will dominate with one type over the other. And to oversimplify things, basically, I'm going to focus on primarily the omega-3 fatty acids and the omega-6 fatty acids. Now, the simplest way to look at it is omega-6 fatty acids primarily upregulate inflammation. Omega-3 fatty acids downregulate inflammation. So if you have that out of balance, you have some problems. Now here's where the issues start. Most of our diet consists of omega-6 fatty acids. So what this means is we're actually eating a pro-inflammatory diet. Typically, omega-6 fatty acids are found in seeds, nuts, and animal products primarily. Preferably like chicken, beef, like the main animal product staples, dairy, things like that are going to be extremely high in omega-6 fatty acids. Conversely, omega-3 fatty acids are extremely high in things like fish. So fish is primarily one of the best sources of omega-3 fatty acids. So if you're not getting enough fish in your diet, you're probably going to have some issues. Also, on the flip side, in our diets, we tend to be cooking a lot with seed oils and vegetable oils and things like that. And this is where the problem is, because now we're cooking with these pro-inflammatory oils. So vegetable oils, seed oils, they're not ideal to cook with. They're just going to upregulate those inflammation pathways in our body. And then if we're not getting enough of the omega-3s through sources of fish, we got problems. Now, how do you know what your levels are? You can obviously monitor what you're eating, but it's still very difficult and it's not an exact science. So there is a way, and you can actually do lab tests. It's specific blood lab tests to which you'll be able to test your omega-3 to omega-6 fatty acid ratios. And so you'll get a nice nifty little handout after you do the blood work that will actually tell you what your levels are. So it's extremely helpful. And I think I could probably put a link, bam, right there, so you can go and possibly even take the test yourself. Okay, now I'm going to talk about specific foods that are really dominant in omega-3 and omega-6. So I touched on a little bit earlier, but I'm going to drill in a lot more right now. But one thing I just remembered that I didn't mention earlier is the exact amount of omega-3 to omega-6 that you need to focus on. And this is really critical. So it should be about a 1:3 or 1:4 ratio. So 1 being the omega-3 and the 3 to the 4 should be the omega-6. So you can obviously have a little bit more of the omega-6 than the omega-3, but ideally getting to a 1-to-1 ratio is perfect. Now what's crazy is with our standard diet, there's reports of 1-to-20 or 1-to-40 ratio. So it's extremely out of balance, and that's why there's so much chronic inflammation being reported and all these other problems that can spiral out of control with excessive inflammation in the body. So getting that proper balance is really, really key to maintain homeostasis as far as your inflammation pathways are concerned. Okay, so sometimes people talk about grass-fed beef being an awesome source of omega-3 fatty acids, and I just want to say this is true. I still think it's the best source of beef you can get for a lot of other reasons, but it still has a lot of omega-6. So I wouldn't primarily, if you don't eat fish or you don't want to eat fish, thinking that you can just eat grass-fed beef is going to get you the right ratios of omega-3 to omega-6 fatty acids, because I don't really foresee that happening. From everything I've been able to find, the amount of omega-6 remains the same in conventional versus grass-fed or organic beef, but in grass-fed, specifically grass-fed, not organic, grass-fed beef, the omega-3 fatty acids are higher. The omega-6 is the same, the omega-3 is just higher. So you are getting more omega-3 fatty acids, but you're still getting a good dose of omega-6 fatty acids. So not the best source for that. Grass-fed beef is great, still highly recommend it, but I wouldn't recommend it for this specific reason. The other thing I want to talk about is eggs. So there's even these fortified omega-3 fatty acid eggs using flaxseed. And I also have some issues with this, mainly because I find it hard to believe that there's really that much omega-3 fatty acids in those specific eggs, because the type of flax that the farmers are going to be feeding their hens are generally lower quality, probably rancid. They're not going to be buying the fancy Whole Foods grade flaxseed for their hens. So those hens are going to have a harder time converting those fats into the usable fats that we can use, and so the ratios are going to be a lot lower, and I don't really think it's a great source for omega-3. Still, I still recommend eggs. That's a great source for a lot of other healthy reasons. It's a good complete protein, but I wouldn't really say just be able to eat eggs to upregulate your omega-3 fatty acids. But on the topic of eggs, side note, go for pastured, then you're going to get higher quality generally, and you're going to get better eggs. Final thing I want to talk about food sources, I just want to touch on really quick, is vegetarian food sources. So if you're a vegetarian or a vegan, vegans have it even harder. You're going to probably go to the flax seeds to get your omega-3s. The problem with that is that specific type of fat, ALA, is basically a type of essential fat that we cannot readily use. The human body cannot use ALA fats for purposes of omega-3 fats in our body. We have to actually convert them into the other usable fats, DHA and EPA. So the ALAs can't be converted, or can't be readily used, so they have to be converted into the DHA EPA form. Generally speaking, our body can only convert about 6% into the usable kind or usable versions. So you're going to have to eat a lot of flax or drink a lot of flax oil to get enough. And as you age, and if you're stressed or if you have diabetes or any insulin issues, like all of these things will stack the deck against you and your ability to convert the ALA into the EPA and DHA. So if you're vegetarian or if you're vegan, this is really important. You're going to have to supplement with an essential fatty acid supplement. And I'm going to talk about this in a later blog post and a later video of a specific one. I'm going to dedicate, probably the next post that's going to come out pretty soon is going to be specifically dedicated to you guys, so you know what to supplement and what to look for, because I feel like a big thing that I'm going to focus on in a lot of these videos is how bad most of the supplements are in the market. And you can't just go to even Whole Foods or some other well-known place and think you're going to get a good quality product. There's a lot of shitty supplements out there. I would say most are terrible, and you have to know what to look for. So that's what I'm here for, guys. I'm going to help guide you through this. So anyway, you're going to have to supplement. That's the deal. If you want to be vegetarian or vegan, you're going to be missing these essential fatty acids, so you're going to have to do that. But there is a solution. I will bring it up later on, so stick with it. Subscribe, and then you'll be able to get the updates when I come out with that video, and it'll come out really soon. But the final part about the food that I want to really focus on is fish. And by eating fish, you're going to be getting the proper amount of essential fatty acids, particularly the omega-3 fatty acids. The final part I want to talk about is fish, and that is your ticket to getting enough omega-3 fatty acids. The best ones are things like salmon, mackerel, herring, trout, sardines. Those are all really good. You want like the fatty deep water fish, and going preferably for the smaller fish like sardines are even better. Heck, just buy the canned sardines and eat fish at least 2 to 3 times a week. Now, if you're gonna buy canned sardines, I don't recommend it being packed in olive oil, generally because the olive oil could be rancid. So buy the packed kind in water, and then eat that a couple times a week. Throw it on a salad. You can eat it with breakfast. Get creative. It doesn't really matter. Just get that in a couple times a week, and then you won't have to actually take a supplement. So that's pretty nifty. I've done blood work myself. I eat sardines a few times a week. I did the blood work, and my ratios were 1-to-1. It was perfect. Omega-3 to omega-6, 1-to-1. No supplementation needed, just by eating canned sardines. So I think that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please leave some comments below. Subscribe. I'm going to start cranking out these videos. Every blog post I'm going to write, I'm going to make an accompanying video, and also I'm going to make additional videos of like quick health tips, things like that, because I want to be able to give as much information out there as possible so you guys can make the best possible health decisions possible. Please let me know if you have any questions in the comments below, and catch you guys later. See ya.